Hello, this is the weekly Tradecast. I'm Sarah Toms. This year is a big milestone for UN Trade and Development as we mark 60 years of transforming lives and building brighter futures. As part of the celebrations, the weekly Tradecast is featuring a series of special episodes. Join us in June for insightful stories on our evolution and impact over the last 6 decades, and even more positive changes in the next 60 years. Coming up now, Arnau Izaguerri looks at the future of AI and why innovation and regulation must go hand in hand.
AI is really impacting all aspects of consumers' lives, from the way we interpret the security risks, privacy risks, safety, and there's no clear answer of how this is going to respond positively for consumers.
This week, we're looking at the future of artificial intelligence and the need for rules of the road to balance the benefits and risks. Innovations in artificial intelligence, or AI for short, are racing ahead as machines get better and faster at analysing information on a vast scale. Already, the advances are transforming many fields of work and also reshaping our social interactions. The potential benefits are enormous, but so too are the risks. As some countries, sectors and workers see great gains, others may lose out. To keep up with these astonishing advances, the United Nations says we need bold strategies and broad cooperation to develop shared standards. Joining me now to talk about innovation and regulation around AI is UN Trade and Development's Arnau Izaguerri, a lawyer working on consumer protection issues. He also loves cooking old family recipes and shopping at local markets. Well, welcome to the show, Arnau.
Hello, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Where are we now with the governance of artificial intelligence, and why do we even need a set of universal rules?
We do need a set of universal rules because of AI's complex, opaque, and sometimes unpredictable behavior. Currently, AI governance lies in private business hands, which insulates the technology from public scrutiny and accountability. The global governance of AI stems from its natural cross-border dimension, and AI today is available in all countries. And a common set of rules will allow us to manage risks and harness its potential responsively. The UN Secretary General launched an AI advisory body that is about to issue its AI for Humanity report containing some recommendations on governance for AI. And the International Telecommunications Union is hosting an AI Governance Day ahead of its AI for Good Summit that should also pave the way for global governance discussion.
Okay, but as AI is constantly evolving, in fact, we don't even know what the machines are doing or why. So what kind of rules do we need, and how can we anticipate the future and keep up with these changes?
It is important that AI is fair, accountable, and transparent and protects human rights and protects us as consumers. But this is not a given in today's reality. We need rules that are based on principles. And the AI advisory body has identified. Some important ones are inclusion, meaning that all citizens, especially those of the global south, should have access and meaningful use of those tools. Another one is about data governance, meaning that AI data use should not be divorced from global commons and data protection of all consumers. A third one is about international law, meaning that the AI governance should be anchored in the UN Charter, in international human rights law, and sustainable development. But translating those principles into actionable initiatives is proving very hard. This is where 2 tools come into full force. First is dialogue between governance and private companies. And the second one is regulation.
Well, we've talked a little about AI and the need for governance, but what are we seeing at the moment? Why do you feel that it is so important? What kind of impact is it having on everyday people in everyday lives?
AI is really impacting all aspects of consumers' lives. And if it hasn't done so, it will. So from the way we interpret the things we see, the way we interpret the security risks, privacy risks, safety, or how do we do about when something goes wrong? These are all aspects that are being impacted by AI today. And there's no clear answer of how this is going to respond positively for consumers.
Who needs to be at the table then to set up and agree on these rules? And how can the UN and other agencies help to steer this AI juggernaut to a positive direction?
Regulating AI will involve a whole of society exercise. This means having governance, tech companies, academia, civil society, including consumer groups, and international organizations at the table. Each one of them brings their insight, their interests to defend, and also their experience to enrich this governance discussion. International organizations, especially the UN, with its almost universal membership, is very well placed. And also its specialized agencies like ITU, UNESCO, UN Trade and Development to facilitate this dialogue, to really reach minimum international standards and to promote capacity building of member states to effectively address AI.
Now, as a consumer, what are the challenges that AI poses to our lives and what can we do to mitigate them?
All our lives as a consumer is impacted by this. And we don't really know how AI works, how AI decisions are being made. We don't know whether we are presented with AI-generated content or not. So we don't know really whether to trust our own eyes. For this, we need to be educated. We need to know our rights, and we need to know how AI works. And we also need strong consent mechanisms, conspicuous disclosure to know whether something is generated by AI or not, and we need accessible and effective dispute resolution and redress systems that we can access when something goes wrong.
How can governments protect consumers then? Are consumers' protection agencies fit for purpose?
Consumers have the right to be protected in AI context just as much as in the traditional context. This means that government should use all the consumer policy toolbox. The first thing they should be doing is providing a robust legal system that protects consumer rights. This means reviewing, perhaps updating, or perhaps enacting new laws. But as you say, it also means being fit for purpose. It means raising their capacities and skills internally, recruiting staff who is AI literate, and also engaging it in a dialogue with business to understand business dynamics, but also to guide them through the expected outcomes of protecting consumers.
So what would you say? Is the onus on governments or on people to educate themselves? Or is this like a dual operation?
I think you hit a right point. We should all be aware that this is happening and beware that this might impact us. So we should be careful when we consume goods, especially goods that are now impacted by AI. But really the onus for protecting consumers comes from governments and it comes from the industry. That should really be expected to be accountable and to keep consumer protection as part of the business culture.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that, Arnau. Thank you to UN Trade and Development's Arnau Izaguerri, who was this week's guest. Tune into the weekly Tradecast next week and every week for more insights on the most pressing issues around the world of trade and development. And there's even more on our website, UNCTAD.org. I'm Sarah Toms in Geneva. Goodbye for now.